my details, setup, and tips on the MoFly MF-A84 P-47 Thunderbolt. It's brushless, it has a gyro, it's 690 millimeter wingspan, it's ready to fly, and it is one of the few factory planes that I have where I did not have to make any modifications to this plane. The plane is 3S capable as it is stock. It comes with 2S LiPo, but you can put a 3S LiPo in it and it flies fantastic. It's got unlimited vertical. On 3S, there will be a playlist in the show notes for the flights on this, details on this, and all the videos that I've published on this plane so far, along with links to the batteries that I fly with in this, adapters to go from XT30 to JST. Those will be in the show notes. All right, so flying it on 3S, because my 3S battery that I fly with is quite a bit lighter than the 2S LiPo that it comes with. So I have to add 14 grams of nose ballast weight to get a neutral balance on the CG. Control linkage setup. The servo arms and the control horns are all 3-hole. Okay, so on the aileron control horns, I use the center hole, and on the aileron servo arm, I use the outermost hole. The elevator control horn is in the center hole, and the elevator servo arm is in the center hole. The rudder control horn is in the innermost hole, and the rudder servo arm is in the center hole. That's how I have all my linkage set up. It's very smooth with plenty of control authority. My recommended radio setup, and the deflection on the control surfaces is measured opposite the control horns, and the deflection is measured in manual mode or the least restrictive mode that you have, so that you want to measure it in the mode where you have the most control surface movement. All right, so for my aileron, the dual rate is at 100%. I use 50% expo, and I have 17 millimeters of deflection up and 17 millimeters of deflection down. On the elevator, I have 100% dual rate. I have 50% expo on the elevator. And again, I have 17 millimeters of movement up and 17 millimeters of movement down on the elevator. On the rudder, I have 100% dual rate. I have 30% expo. I have 20 millimeters of movement left and 20 millimeters of movement right. Specified CG. I couldn't find any documentation that gave me what the specified CG was, but what I found was the plane flies the best and is the most stable at 42 millimeters from the leading edge of the wing at the aileron servos. That's where I've marked mine. That's where I always balance it, and it works great at that CG with a neutral balance. Launch throttle that I use is 70%. That's on 3S LiPo. All right, so the foam hinges on this were really stiff. There was a lot of resistance to the foam hinges. So what I did was I cut slots in the foam hinges so that they move more freely, and I cut through about one third of the foam hinge is what I cut through. All right, so tips. The 2S LiPo that it comes with is 1300 milliamp hour. It's a 20C LiPo. It weighs 65 grams. When I'm flying with the stock 2S LiPo, because it's heavier and it's slightly in front of the CG, it only requires 7 grams of nose ballast weight when I'm flying with the stock 2S LiPo. My 3S LiPo is a 650 milliamp hour LiPo. It's 75C and it weighs 53 grams. It's 12 grams lighter than the stock 2S LiPo. And with it, I have to use 14 grams of nose ballast weight to get the same CG. So it's actually, even though I have to double the nose ballast weight, it's actually a little bit lighter with the 3S LiPo than it is with the stock 2S LiPo with 7 grams of nose ballast weight. And the location of the nose ballast weight is right behind this red line, you know, where the red and the orange line right here meet, where the red ends and the orange begins. That's where I have my nose ballast weight attached on the bottom of the fuselage. As a matter of fact, you can see it right here. All right, so tips. Check the servo arms for center when the transmitter sticks are centered. Okay, so check and make sure that the servo arms on the ailerons and on the elevator and the rudder, make sure that those are offset 90 degrees from the servo. And if they're not, when you have the sticks centered on your transmitter, reposition those. Try to reposition those so you can get them as centered up as possible so that the movement of your control surface is symmetrical up, down, left, and right. Okay, there was a couple of mine that I had to reposition that were, they were off. Like they weren't as centered as they could have been. So don't forget to check that. That's a wrap on this episode. I'll see you next time in the Tinkerz Lab.